Hi. So we are outside and we're about to start washing Swiss chard. So I want to show you our system. I'm going to turn the camera here so I can not get my sign. Okay, so we have 2 buckets for wash. And after we put the basket of Swiss chard, see, we have a nice, it's basically a laundry basket, but it's more flexible. So he's going to go ahead and finish filling that till it's about halfway full of chard leaves and stem. And this horsefly is going to harass me now. You can see we've got a monstrous pile of Swiss chard we've just harvested. And that's probably going to be good for the first. Okay, so go ahead and show them how you do your thing. So just like a wash machine, and go up and down, and again. And up and down. And you can even agitate it, just bouncing it up and down in the water. Be careful because you don't want to bruise it. And you do it about 4 or 5 times in this bucket, and then you'll go to the next bucket, which has clean water. Why don't you go more up and down, up and down? Okay. And then we'll do this one. And then we're going to dump this bucket and we'll put the clean water in it. And just repeat the process. Each basket of chard goes through this process 4 times. And it helps clean it. It's much easier than trying to clean each individual leaf in the sink, especially if you have a large quantity. He likes to swish it more than I do. I like to just bounce it up and down. So that is how we wash our Swiss chard. And you guys can see our garden has gone crazy. These are my cantaloupes, squash, zucchinis. That huge mess over here, that's all potato. So yeah. Good afternoon. So I just wanted to hop on real quick, and I know I talked to you guys about doing a video on Swiss chard the other day, and then I got burned, and then I delayed everything. So I am doing Swiss chard now. So I thought I'd give you guys just a little precursor view on what we're doing. So you can see here, I've got my Swiss chards all chopped up. I've got some that is steaming, and I need to stir that. You don't need very much water in the pan because you just want it to wilt. You don't really need it to do much more than just wilt. So it's almost ready to pull. And then this is stuff that's already been wilted. And then I have my salt out and ready. This is hot water. Canner's ready to go. So what's going to happen is I'm going to loosely fill 1 quart jars to the shoulder, add a teaspoon of salt, and then I'll ladle liquid in. remove any air bubbles, wipe the rim, apply the lid and ring, and then it will go into the pressure canner. Once the pressure canner vents for 10 minutes, then we'll let it build pressure to 11 pounds pressure, and we want to keep it there for 90 minutes. So all greens are 90 minutes. All greens you want to pack loosely so that there's plenty of movement for water flow between them. It is not uncommon to have smaller bits sometimes get underneath the lid and interrupt your seal. So don't be surprised if you do greens, if you have one or two that don't seal. That's not uncommon at all. I normally have to redo them probably 1 out of every 2 to 3 loads. So it's not that uncommon at all. It's nothing that you did wrong. But if you look underneath the lid, you'll probably see a little remnant of leaf. So in a nutshell, that is processing greens. Probably these greens are probably ready. See how much they've shrunk down just in that few minutes? So yeah, these are ready to pull. So then you just kind of let the water drip out of them. Because remember, you're gonna have fresh water. And see, that looks really gross, but that's not dirt, because you guys saw how we cleaned the leaves. That is just the dye coming out of the stalks. So, and when you take your jars out of the canner, you'll notice that they all have the same unified color of spinach. That pretty color that it looks like when it goes in the jar will not be there when it comes out. It all tends to bleed out. And then we're just going to take some of the fresh stuff that we've chopped. You want to use probably a 1 and 1.5 inch strip. I like to keep it 1, but the boys were trying to help me out, so. And you just top it off. It's okay to fill the pot up because you're going to turn it. And the point is to get it all wilted. So let that set for a few minutes. And that is pretty much that. I'll show you the first jar so you can see how I fill it. I'm just going to give these a rinse because it doesn't feel like my dishwasher was quite hot enough yet. Let me turn on my hot water. Hold on 1 second. I don't want any shock. So, jar, let me turn this around. One teaspoon. And like I said, we're going to do this very loosely. We don't want to smush. We don't want to pack. We want plenty of airflow and water movement in there. So if you look here, now that's too full. So I'm going to just pull that out. This is the shoulder of your jar, and that's really where you don't want to go past filling wise. But do you see how nice and loose the leaves are in there? Absolutely no pack down. So when your canning books say fill loosely, that is what they're meaning. And Elijah, you want to get my bubble remover there? Yeah. Right here. I got it. Let me just get a ladle. I almost forgot to come live to show you all. We are canning Swiss chard. And see how that just sagged down when I put the water in? That's okay, because remember, that water, because of the pressure from the steam, is going to be at a rolling boil inside this jar. So all that leaf is going to be moving around too. And I'm going to check my book. I believe it's 1 inch headspace, but I'm going to double check just to be safe. Okay, you want to hold that for just a second? Don't look at my messy counters. I am like 99.99% sure. Yes. 1 inch headspace. Process pints an hour and 10 minutes. Quarts an hour and 30 minutes, which I already knew. What did I do with my cloth? Oh my good grief, what is wrong with me? All right, and so I'm going to pass them on our linen, right? So I can add just a little bit more water. Perfect. I want to show them this here. So this mark right here, I don't know if I can get the light right for you to see it. Maybe not. Well, maybe you can see it right there. If you look at this jar, that mark, see how that's just right there at the water level? That's appropriate headspace. So the tip of this should be right where the water begins. Okay, you can hold that and you want to be careful because this is super, super, super hot because of the boiling waters. And set it right in the counter. Where are you going? Focusing on the floor. Let me just show you again. And just kind of wiggle it until it takes it. All right. You know what I did? I didn't remove the bubbles in that jar. My goodness, what is wrong with my brain today? I'm gonna have to pull that one back out. But, read it to me.
Did you heat up your lids before putting them on the jars?
You never heat your lids. Never, ever, ever. That is a big fat no-no. The modern lids, the polymers in them, are not made to be heated. They're made for single heat use, single heat treatment, so that they form a nice unified seal on the inner and outer rim of your jar. If you heat them beforehand, then you stand the risk of ruining the polymers in them so that they will not bind an appropriate seal. See, I'm gonna have to take that other one out. Piece of pine needle. We live in a grove of pine here, so we occasionally, there we go. And we're going to recheck the headspace. Yep. second. What's it say?
Literally.
What does it say afterwards? So sorry, polymers.
Autocorrect. The pain of the modern day technology.
So I'm going to take this one out because I forgot to stir that one to check for bubbles.
Careful, Mom, the jar's hot.
It is very hot,
Burning.
but it'll be fine. See the difference? See what would have happened? So I would have thought I had water loss when I didn't. That's the difference of air bubbles coming out. So don't be spacey like me and forget to remove your bubbles.
She said beautiful greens.
They are beautiful going in. Not quite so beautiful coming out. They literally look like canned spinach. But they will be yummy to be had through the winter.
Sandy McNeil says, good afternoon from Alabama. I did 40 jars of beans today.
Yay! How did you do them? Were they dried beans or were they green beans? What kind of beans?
I think that question's for you.
What does it say?
What do you cook them with?
We saute them with stir fries. We eat them as a side dish.
And also do them in cream chicken.
Oh yeah, last night we had stuffed chicken breast with them. That's good. Which is, you take chicken breast, let's move this forward. You take chicken breast and you slice it, and you take Swiss chard or your favorite type of green, whatever it may be, and mix it with ricotta cheese, Parmesan, and garlic, and a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. Sometimes a little paprika. And you stuff the chicken with it in the slices, and then you bake it, and it is divine. Very, very yummy. And don't be worried if you think you've got, like, if you're poking around in that jar and you feel like it's got too much, don't be afraid to, you know, take some of it out. Better loose than lost. Yeah, perfect. You got lots of comments?
No. Just tons
Okay,
from
well, don't-
beginning to end.
Don't keep scrolling through because I'm gonna repeat this one. The dishwasher did not get them as hot as they normally do, but I didn't run it first. I think that's why. And you'll notice there are no stalks in this. Smaller stalks are fine, but really you just want the green. Plus you can use the stalks for pickles. They make wonderful pickles. Yeah, see, I think that's too much. Gotta take that piece out. Yeah, that feels much better. Yep. Okay, I'm going to switch these out. Did Sandy answer what kind of beans she did?
Great Northern.
Gray Northern or green Great Northern? Where are you seeing it? What will you use those for, Sandy, during the next few months? Or the next... Wow. You can say right there, it's fine. No, it's okay, stay right here. Then you just see what rinse the jar a few times.
She says, how long do you blanch them for?
Just until they wilted. These ones went a little bit longer than what I normally like. This last batch because I was busy flapping my gums. I like to have them still kind of, let's see, kind of still spry. See, that's a good picture of the bubbles right there. See right here and here, those are all bubbles.
Are you blanching them in water or just salted water?
Just water. They went through 5 washes in the wash system that I showed you the other day. We refill those blue buckets 4 times for every basket of greens. So it uses quite a bit of water. However, it's far less tedious to do it that way, and we can always use the water to water gardens afterwards as we dump them, because the dirty water won't hurt fruits and vegetables. We got 2 more jars. There's 5 in there, right?
Yep. 2 more.
I'm gonna try to tag 2 of these ones. Nay, will you come stir these greens for me? See, that's a piece that got in there that shouldn't be in there. He's not listening. He's got his earphones on. It's fine. I'll do it myself. I got it. Hold on. Good.
How was your burn injury?
I went to the doctor's actually for that today. He said I have a great couple, whatever, deep tissue 2nd-degree burns. So he gave me, actually it's an all-natural remedy. It's a Manuka honey salve to put on them as the blisters open. He said I likely will have some scarring, but he doesn't believe there's any nerve damage. So that's good. Good report all the way around. He asked me if I was going to stop canning, and I said, oh, all signs point to no.
What did you do?
The other day when we did the cranberry tutorial for cranberry juice, when I signed off, when I went to do a second canner full of the juice, I had about 8 quarts in the basket, and the right handle of the rack let go, and all 8 quarts went in and bathed me with probably a gallon of 2 of rolling boiling water.
She said, I've been working, I'm behind times, lol.
So I got some burns from the chest down, my right side. Why don't you go that way? Yeah. So we are all good in space. Just gonna give my vent a second look.
Bobby said, ouch, sorry that happened.
You and me both, Bobby. I'm fine though, thank you. It is not the first time. And probably with the canning that I do, it won't be the last. Accidents happen, but it is a good reminder for us all to make sure that we have our wits about us. And remember, if you ever get a good burn like that, don't wipe because your skin will come off with it. But definitely get out of whatever it is wet as fast as possible. So yeah, I have a few patches on my side and stomach that look like leather, literally. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. So I'm going to let the canner build up to a steam, and then once it has a steam, we're gonna let it vent for 10 minutes. When it's done venting for 10 minutes, then I'll put on the weight, let it come up to 11 pounds pressure, and then we'll put a timer on for 90 minutes. And as long as we maintain a minimum of 12 pounds, we will be good to go. That reminds me, I want to stress with you all, because I know we have some new people who have just started their parlay. Yes, fire. My mother sent me the number of a lady who makes leather aprons. So she wants me to get a couple to kind of give myself a barrier, because this isn't the first time. But yeah, so she gave me the number for somebody though. But yeah, this is a good time to remind you that if you are canning and you notice that something is not quite on the up and up with your canner, whether you have, in fact, I spoke to a lady the other day, she had some steam coming out around her pressure gauge itself. So I advised her to shut it down. When things like that happen, or when your gauge needle drops below the pounds of pressure you need for processing, you have to start your time over. You have to have a consistent 90 minutes when you do greens, or a consistent, 50 minutes with, or 40 minutes with onions. You have to have that consistency. You can't have even a 1 pound differentiation below what is called for, or you could end up giving yourself or somebody you love a can of food with botulism in it, mold, yeast, spores, whatever. And I just also want to stress the importance of taking your rings off. I know there was some discussion back and forth. Some people have never done it. Some people grew up with this way and grew up that way. Well, my answer to that is, when you know better, you do better. So it's really important that you make sure you take the rings off before you put your cans away to store. If there's something that's spoiled in your jar, 9 times out of 10, the ring is gonna pop, the lid is gonna pop if you don't have the ring on, and it's gonna alert you to something bad. If you don't, then you could likely have a false seal and then eat something and end up sick. So yeah. So that's about it. I am going to be comprising a list because I was asked to do a presentation on an emergency preparedness about canning. So I am going to go make a list of things that have to be pressure canned and things that can be water bathed, just as a quick reference. So if there's anything you're questioning, let me know, and I will share that list with this group as well. So that's pretty much it. We're just starting to see steam. Just a little tiny bit. Oh, I've been spin. Sorry, I have a new phone, so just the tiniest. So yeah, so we'll be counting 10 minutes when that gets a little bit firmer. Oh, thank you, Grace. Yeah, neither did I. My dad is a Class A machinist, so she made him stuff so that the metal flecks and stuff wouldn't be getting into his clothing, because then my mom washes them and they'd be in a washer in the dryer. So, yeah. So I'll let you know how that works. But, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start the 10-minute timer in about probably 3 or 4 minutes, if that. And this will go, I don't think I have enough for a full batch. Probably I'll get another 4 quarts out of this at most. Greens, even though it looked like there were so many in the video I did the other day, they wilt down really tiny. So that is pretty much that. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll be sure to show you the end result. Okay? See you later.